the small things in your life. Morty, give me a smoke, Morty. There they are. There they are. I just need one. I just need one. I just need one. I just need one. There the baby is. I got it. There we go. There we go. Morty, watch this, Morty. Been doing this since high school. Watch this. Smoke rings, Morty, smoke rings. I still got it, huh?
You never lost it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You got that right. 10-4, good buddy. You got that right. You got that right.
Watch this.
Oh, what? I tell you, boy. I tell you, Morty, we've been saying we're going to stop the big things and even the small things in our life. I say it's not too late. I say we stop today.
How about tomorrow?
Okay. What keeps you from following God? Maybe it's your fear. Grandpa?
Yes,
Grandpa?
what is it? What is it?
Grandpa,
What is
can I
it?
talk
What
to
is
you?
it, grandson?
Grandpa, can I talk to you for a
What
minute?
is it, little Bobby?
Okay,
Little Bambino?
hey, Grandpa, I got questions. And since, I get to stay with you and Grandma for the
Yep.
week, thought I'd ask you some questions.
Alrighty, shoot, partner.
Well, first question, why do I have a full beard?
Yeah. Yep.
That's a mystery, right?
Right. It's the men in our family. A lot of testosterone. Yep.
Grandpa,
Yep.
Grandpa, what does it mean when it rains?
Well, let me think. That means that the angels are crying.
Mm-hmm.
They're very sad. You've probably done something wrong.
Oh. Feels like a whole bucket of shame right there, Grandpa.
Yeah. Well, it worked in raising your dad, so yeah.
Grandpa?
Yeah.
Grandpa, what does it mean when it thunders?
That means the angels had chalupas for dinner the night before. That's why they say it smells like rain.
Is that right?
Yeah. Did you take your glasses off? Can you see okay?
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
fine, Grandpa.
You kind of look like a trucker.
Kind of felt like something was off.
Yep, you're off there.
Yeah. Grandpa?
Yep, what is it, Kimasabi?
What? Thanks, Grandpa.
You got it.
Grandpa?
Yep, Scooter, what is it?
What? Why do pretty people marry ugly people?
Well, pretty people marry ugly people because love is blind. But don't talk about your grandma that way, all right?
I didn't say a word about it. There was no word. There was no word about
hurt her feelings.
I didn't say a word.
Nope, I know.
Grandpa,
Yeah, buddy.
when you and Grandma have on the news and I'm sitting there and there's all the bad stuff that's on the news and there's always a lot of stuff that comes on I get really scared. And if God loves everybody, why does all the bad stuff happen in the world? And if what you and Grandma say is true about God, I mean, I don't know what it looks like as I grow up, because it just looks really, really scary to...
Now you listen. Your old grandpa will spin stories and tell tales all day long. But what I'm about to tell you right now is the truth. Since the beginning of time, good and evil have been battling it out. But I've read the book all the way to the end. And in the end, God wins. God wins in the end.
What keeps you from following God? Maybe it's the way you rationalize parts of your lifestyle.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, those are not my cigarettes.
These are not yours?
Nope. But you can put them in here.
What's up?
Huh?
What's up?
Yeah. Hey, listen, the reason I was coming was some of my buddies are going to see that movie you and I talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, and before you say anything, I want to go see it with them, okay?
Son.
No, listen,
Son.
listen, just hear me, okay? Listen, okay? Here's the thing, okay?
I'm
Here's
listening.
Listen, okay? Here's the, listen, okay?
Son.
Listen, listen, okay? Here's the thing, okay? Listen, okay? Here's the thing, okay? I know in this movie, I know there's some violence, okay? But it's just a little violence. It's just a little, okay? And I know it's not real, okay? And I know that there's some cussing in it, okay? But it's just a little cussing. It's just a little, okay? And I know it's not real, okay?
The cussing,
yeah,
not real.
Yeah, and I know there's some nudity in it, okay? But it's just a little nudity, just a little, okay? And I know it's not real.
Son.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, listen. Can I please go see the movie with my friends? Please.
Okay.
I knew it. You don't ever let me do anything, and I don't understand. What'd you say?
You can go see the movie.
I can?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're the coolest dad in the whole wide world. Thanks, Dad.
Wait. I knew we were gonna have this talk, so I decided that I would make you some of my famous brownies. These are Dad's famous brownies.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Yeah, these are your favorite brownies. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Dad. I'm gonna take a sneak it in the theater.
Whoa. No, come back. I want you to eat it now.
Huh?
I want you to eat that now.
You're kind of weirding me out.
Well, I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to say that I made these for you. Now, they have the same ingredients that they've always had since you were a kid. They have the cocoa, they have the brown sugar, they have the flour.
So good.
Right?
Good.
Yeah, the eggs, the vanilla. But I added something this time, just a little bit of something.
You shouldn't mess with perfection.
Well, that's okay. That's a good point. That's a good point. But this time around, I added just a little bit of something. It shouldn't affect the whole batch because it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit.
What is it? Cumin?
No.
Paprika?
No.
Allspice?
No.
Old Spice?
No.
I can't taste the difference.
Just a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can taste it. What was it?
Dog poop. Son, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit, son. It's just a little, son. Son, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. Son.
From the big dog or the little dog?
The little dog.
That's a load off.
Son, it's just a little bit. Shouldn't affect the whole batch.
It is dog poop.
Son,
What?
just a little bit.
I get it.
What?
No, I get it.
What?
Son, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. It's
What?
just a little bit.
What?
No, I get it, okay? Listen, the next time you don't want me to go see a movie, just say, don't go see the movie. Don't feed me poop brownies. I don't even want to go see the movie now, okay? I just want to go get something to drink.
Okay.
That better be lemonade in the refrigerator. There's not enough time to talk about the number of excuses that I've made in my life to say this is okay, or I don't have to do that, or you know what, I'll start it later or tomorrow. So many excuses, and I wish I could get rid of all of those excuses and just go. But there's a time where you could just have to stop and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let anything keep me from God any longer. It's time to start.
That's right.
You know?
And 2 Peter 1:3 says this, by his divine power, he has given us everything we need. God has given us everything we need for life and godliness. So when the question is asked to you, what keeps you from following God? Because by his divine power, he's given us everything we need to be a godly man and a godly woman. Bottom line, maybe it's just you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good morning, Allentown Victory Church. Today we start a new series called Healing for the Hurt. You know, we live in a broken world and we need healing. And right now we're going to be getting into a 6-part series, and we're going to be going on a venture here, on a journey to see God's path for healing for our life. So stay tuned and get ready.
room, sing it out. From the grave, you have risen on the cross. Oh, death was finished. We're alive in your endless freedom. Oh, glory to your name. Say, Jesus, your power ends our shame. Jesus, we lift our endless praise to the highest name. Jesus, all glory to your name. Jesus, your power ends our shame. Jesus, we lift our endless praise to the highest name. Jesus. You alone get all the glory and all the praise. Yeah.
God, you are the name that is above every name, the name that is so worthy of our praise, and it is in your name that we find peace. It's in your name that we find forgiveness. It's in your name we find healing. So we are going to call on that name today. You show me every breath I breathe is from you. Every fingerprint part of you. I am yours from start to end. You hold me, and even when I wander, you are never farther than just a word away. Oh, I call your name when I say Jesus, the very mention shatters the darkness and calms my soul. When I say Jesus, even a whisper breaks through my doubting till all my fear is gone. You are with me, writing grace into my story. I'm surrounded by your victory. Oh, there's freedom in your name. When I say Jesus, the very mention shatters the darkness and calms my soul. When I say Jesus, even a whisper
say Jesus, even a whisper breaks through my doubting till all my fear is gone. When I say Jesus, the very mention shatters the darkness and calms my soul. When I say Jesus, even a whisper breaks through my doubting till all my feelings gone. All the doubts are washed away in the name above all other names. We call all the glory of creation, everything is from your hand, reaching down out of the heavens, all to sculpt the heart of man. Not in gold and not in silver, nothing precious or refined. Across the universe of wonder, you make dust your grand design. Oh, praise the Lord Most High. Word of God, the breath of life, maker of this heart of mine. You made us your grand design. Stepping down into the ruins, Word of God becoming man, falling
welcome back. Today we are starting the series, Healing for the Hurt. And perhaps you know somebody like this, perhaps a friend of yours or yourself, where they refuse to go to the doctor. They could be in pain and wincing like crazy, but they will not go see a doctor. I'm sure all of us have met somebody like that in our life, or perhaps they have a remedy that they swear by. Perhaps it's Windex, perhaps it's an essential oil, perhaps it's ginger ale, perhaps it's apple cider vinegar. Perhaps there's some other kind of thing that they take that they swear by, this will work, I don't need anything else, I'm good to go with this. And again, they could still be hurting in pain, but they'll be convinced that what they have will work for them. We all know someone who is stubborn, who doesn't want to admit that they're going through something and need extra help beyond what's in front of them, or perhaps they don't know what to be grabbing for that's in front of them. And so we're going to be looking at that for us, because I think each and every one of us deals with that. I think each and every one of us has areas in our life where we refuse to get help, perhaps because we don't even realize we need help. Perhaps we think we're above help, or we're good, or we don't like the help that perhaps is around us. And so today, as we get in that series, we're going to be looking into that, into those pains, and there's some things that we're going to need to look at for ourselves. Now, I don't know if you've ever gone to the arcade or been to a fair and seen that whack-a-mole game, where you take that hammer and, the little groundhogs or moles come up and you got to whack them down as fast as you can. And there are things in all of our life that I think we play whack-a-mole with, things that we try to knock down and get out. And we try our hardest, but things always seem to keep coming and popping back up. For example, have you ever gone to try to go to sleep and you know you need to be going to sleep, but then you just don't go to sleep? You keep staying up later and later and later, perhaps watching your favorite show, and then you feel bad about the next day. How many times does that happen over and over and over again? How about, have you ever made a commitment that you couldn't keep? And then we keep making commitments that we can't keep? Perhaps it's taking that extra calorie. That's something I don't like to talk about too much. But we say, I'm not going to have that many calories today, I'm not going to eat that much. Then we end up eating more and more and more and more. Or perhaps we say, I'm going to go exercise, but we end up not exercising. Perhaps it's something that we've said we're going to be unselfish and give in this area, and instead we were instead we were selfish and unkind in the areas that we wanted to be unselfish in. And so we have to look in these multiple areas that perhaps we're trying to take control of our life, our circumstances, or something else in our life, and we keep trying to whack things down to get it in line, to get the way we wanted to get it, and we just can't quite get there, can we? We'll try over and over and over again, and then there's a lot of things that begin boiling up when that begins happening. But there's 4 specific things that I think we try to control in our life that we want to talk about in this series. One is that we try to control our image. Perhaps you're on social media right now. How many people are trying to control their image right now on social media, right? How about even right now, video camera? Me on video right now, right? There's an extent where I try to control the image a little bit. I'm not giving you my back view or certain side views, right? I'm giving you the views that I'm choosing to give you. And that's all I got. That's the best I got. But we all try to control our image in some way, shape, or form, or perhaps our image to others and how we look like to other people. Another thing that we try to control, number 2, is other people. Sometimes we want them to be acting a certain way. If they don't act a certain way, or if they don't do something exactly the way we want them to get it done, all of a sudden we start lashing out and we start saying things that we don't really want to say. But sometimes we want people to be doing a certain thing. We have expectations that we have on people that are close to us. And when they don't meet that, all of a sudden it's out of the bounds of our control. And so again, we talked about controlling our image, controlling other people. How about trying just to control our own problems? Things that are happening that arise in our life. And again, we're going back to that whack-a-mole thing, trying to knock those things down and to just keep coming back over and over and over again. And we try to control it so that it's silenced. Those problems won't be happening anymore, but there will always be problems that happen in our life. So that's number 3. Or how about our pain? How about trying to control our pain? How about trying to control it with medication? Or how about our emotional pain? Trying to control it with so many things that are available to us right now, right here. And so these are things that we all try to control in our life. And if we can realize that we're trying to get a handle and a grip on something that we're not supposed to. We're supposed to let go and release some of these things to God and to trust Him with some of those things. However, when we grab hold, we find that some things are not the way we thought they would end up being in our hands. We thought they would be a better outcome, and we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. You know, there's an old wise tale that says that this monkey, they try to capture monkeys in this jungle, and what they would do is that they would take a coconut, they would cut a hole in the coconut just big enough for the monkey to put his hand inside the coconut. And what they do is they put something inside the coconut, perhaps another fruit or something they knew the monkey would want. And so when the monkey would go in to grab it, all of a sudden he would make a fist, and now he could not get out of the coconut. So because he's holding on to this, so now his fist all of a sudden made his hand bigger with the object inside of it to where he could not get out of that hole. It was just big enough for him to slip his hand in, but not to take the object out. And so they would trap monkeys that way because they would stick their hand in, but they wouldn't let go. And how many of us are like that, where we have something in our life that we're trying to control, we're trying to grab onto, and we won't let go of that very thing. We won't let go of the way we're handling things, the way that things are operating in our hands, and we refuse to stop trying things our way and look for a higher way, look for God's way of doing things. And so we hold on, and we end up being in our own traps that we set, when there's a simple letting go process that we want to talk about here in this series. So there are consequences to the things that we deal with. There are consequences to us trying to get into that trap. There's consequences to us trying to control our problems, our image, our pain, other people. There are consequences to that. And we look at fear. Fear is one of those things, because if we can't do it, then we're afraid that we're going to be overwhelmed and we have to do this, and that. Then we get frustrated. After we've tried doing it so much, we're getting frustrated, we get angry because it's not working the way we want it to be working. We get fatigued and tired out of trying things over and over and over again. And what do they call the definition for insanity? Trying the same thing over and again, expecting different results. And there's so many that I have seen around my life that try the same thing over and over again, and they want something different, but they end up right back to where they were. And so this is something we have to look at, and we don't want to be doing that because we'll get fatigued. But then ultimately results into failure. You know, I don't believe that failure is just when we stop or take a break. I believe failure is when we completely quit, when we quit from going on the right path. You know, we can fall and falter, but we can get back up again. The Bible talks about the righteous get back up again. And this is what we do. There's so many times where we falter and flounder, but we get back up. And the thing is that when we get back up, we have to realize that there is another area of strength or another energy source that we need to be tapping into. You know, we look at Paul in the Bible, and he wrote something in Romans chapter 7, verse 15 through 18. I want to take a moment to read it to you, because I think this is something that relates to all of us. He said, "For what I am doing, I do not understand. For what I will to do, that I do not practice. But what I hate, that I do. If then I do what I will not to do, I agree with the law," or all these commandments, "that it is good. But now it is no longer I who do it, but sin that dwells in me. For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, nothing good dwells. For to will is present within me, but how to perform what is good I do not find." And here you see this frustration of Paul, where he's saying, look, I want to do what's right on the inside, but all these outside obstacles where I'm trying to fix this and try to do that, and then I get tired, and then I need help here, and then I'm looking for comfort here. Paul's saying, look, I understand the struggle. My flesh wants to do what's wrong. These earth suits, think about it for a second. You're here on this earth. If you go onto the moon, you're going to need to wear an astronaut suit to go on the moon. And so when you see in the Bible the word flesh, think of it like, yes, your skin. Think of it like your earth suit. We have an earth suit. When we die, we're going to be out of this earth suit that we're in. This earth suit stays in the ground, right? And so this flesh, it says, man, this flesh wants to do what's wrong. It gravitates. This outfit, this suit that we have on, gravitates to what is wrong. He says, look, but inside of me, I want to do what's right. So Paul understands this frustration very well of trying to do some things. In fact, he was one of the biggest controllers there ever was. Before he became a Christian, he tried to control the narrative, tried to control the way things were at, and he found that he was actually going against God himself, where Jesus confronted him, saying, "Why are you kicking against the goads?" Essentially, he was saying, "Why are you kicking against me?" How many of us are doing that? How many of us are kicking against God? Saying, well, I don't think I'm kicking against God. By doing it your way, you are. By saying, I know better, I know what to do, I know how to get it done, we are saying, God, I know better than you. And we do end up kicking against God. See, the root problem in all this is pride. There is pride in all of our lives in some way, shape, or form. And even when we think we got a layer of it, God reveals and say, hey, there's a little more right here. There's a little more right here. And that's frustrating. That's frustrating when we think we got a handle, but then there's more and more and more. But that's the root cause to many of these issues that we're finding and talking about, to many of the hurts when we're feeling, I can do it with what's in my hand. I can figure it out. I can take care of it. This is the same trap the devil fell into. And it wasn't a trap because he's really the one that originally fell into it and then started setting it for all of us so that we would be followers of him and follow what he does. He says, I will ascend. I will be higher. And so there's the I wills of Satan when he was an angel, and then he became a fallen angel and became Lucifer, Satan, who we know today, all right, as our enemy. And he's trying to trap us to follow his direction. And pride is one of those traps where we don't even realize we're following the enemy's path. When we're saying, me, I can do this, I can figure it out, I don't need help, I don't need a doctor, I don't need somebody else, we're following the same track of the enemy. And we have to be careful and open our eyes and realize and admit. There's a few things we need to be admitting, but one thing we need to realize is the root cause here is pride. So there's a little video here that I want you to take a look at, and I think it'll ring true for many of us.
Jesus, I have decided to give you this.
Really?
Yeah,
You know whoever sits here makes all the decisions, right?
I know, and I'm always making decisions, but you make the perfect decisions, so you just sit right down and start making them.
Wow, I'm honored. I mean, this feels great.
Kathleen, guess what? I just got my new credit card. It's time to go shopping. Oh, really? I thought your husband and you were going to pay off debt. Oh, yeah. I mean, money's kind of tight, but I figured he doesn't have to know about it. So do you want to go with me?
No.
No?
Why?
What I mean is, I don't know. So let me check my schedule, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, yeah, give me a call.
Okay.
Kat, what's going on?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm kind of one-cheeking it here. Look, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. You wanted me to sit here, right?
Well, of course.
And whoever sits here makes all the decisions?
Right.
So what's the problem?
There's not a problem. I don't know what I was thinking. Really, please, here, sit down.
As long as you're sure.
I'm sure.
Okay, so let's start over.
Okay.
All right. Kat, I noticed that you've been losing your temper a lot lately.
Right.
So-
Okay, Jesus, you know what? I know what you're gonna say, but see,
You do?
you don't know the whole situation, you know?
Oh, well, all I'm saying is that your attitude is a decision.
Yes, of course, but I have a lot going on right now.
Well, I know you're under a lot of pressure.
Pressure, Jesus, you don't understand pressure, okay?
This isn't working, Kat.
What?
We can't both sit on the seat. It's either me or it's you.
Okay, I know. You know, I didn't think it was gonna be this hard, but here, just take it.
No, I'm not gonna take it. You have to give it to me.
Okay, here.
Kathleen, make a choice.
I can't.
You just did.
As you see that video, you see the struggle that we all face, where we're trying to take back something we've given, and we don't realize that we haven't fully released things over to God. And there's a few things that we have to face, a few facts that we have to look at. Because if we're going to need and rely on God for change, we also have to realize where we're in the way. So here's 3 quick facts to think about, all right? I am powerless to change my past. Some of us are striving to erase things that happened into our past. We call it guilt, where, man, maybe if I do enough good, it'll erase some of the things in my past. Now, some of us, I think, have enough knowledge to know that that doesn't work. But yet, we still might be inadvertently trying to do that, trying to take back that seat, trying to say, no, I can do this, I have to do it. And we have to be careful and realize and come to that fact, I am powerless to change my past. 2, I am powerless to control other people. You know, you might have had success in a couple errands where you tried to control somebody and it worked. And you might have got a result you wanted here or there. But in the long run, you're not going to get the results you really want. You're not going to get the relationships that you're really longing for. You're not going to get the things that you want to see in your life and also those that are around you. And so we cannot control other people no matter how much we try. We need to realize that I am powerless to control other people. And number 3, I'm powerless to cope with my own hurts, my own hang-ups, and my own habits. All right, now, Many of us, if we've gone to therapy, we figure out coping mechanisms, things to cope with things. And there's some things that we can do to cope with some basic things that we go through. However, we got to realize that ultimately, in the long run, we are powerless to cope with this for a lifetime. We need help. We need another power source. Our own motivation, inspiration, chicken soup for the soul will not last you a lifetime, okay? And so we have to find another power source, and that is God. That is His Word. That is His Spirit. And we need to plug into Him. And so there is a cure for this thing that we have. There's a cure for this pride, and that's something we call humility. We need humility in our life. And there's a few things that we have to be able to admit, some things that we have to be able to profess and confess. One thing is that I must humbly admit I need help. Now that's not easy to say, right? Going back to that person that refuses to go to the doctor. We have to get to the place to say, I need help. I need help from something outside of myself. I need someone to come in and help me. And perhaps we've done that before. And we get frustrated because we don't get the help we want. And then we're back to controlling people, right? They're not helping me the way that I want. I get that. Or we think we know the help that we need. Some of us do. Some of us do know some immediate things of help that we need right now. However, we're talking about on some bigger scale, some bigger hurt, some other things in our life that perhaps are preventing us from going into the future God has for us. And for that, we need to realize and admit I need help outside of my own hands and outside of my control, and perhaps that's outside of my perspective right now as well. So we look at Proverbs 28:13, and it says, whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy. One of the things that we need to be able to admit about ourselves is that I am broken. I am broken. I am hurt. Can you say that right now? Can you say I am hurt? Now, if you come from that faith camp, right, where no, I refuse to say anything like that, I'm not weak, I'm strong, I understand. I understand. However, at the same time, to be in denial about pains that we're going through is not healthy either. That is not showing the faith of God, nor is it drawing people to God in your life to ignore what is there. And so we got to be able to admit that I'm broken, I'm hurting, there's something wrong. And the Bible clearly talks about confessing and talking about and saying the sins that are going on in our life and identifying those things. How will we go to the great physician? How will we go to the doctor unless we realize that we're sick? So we need to admit that we need help. And we need to be able to confess the secret sins that are in our life. To have an open, transparent life. Because if I have a wound right here and I'm closing it off and not letting you see it, and you're the one who has the medicine that I need, you have the application, you have the ointment that I need for that. But if I don't even let you see it, how will I get the help that I need? So there has to be a level of transparency. All right? There has to be some people in our life that we trust. There has to be someone in our life that we trust more than anything or anyone else. And realize that my pride and fear keep me stuck. We have to be able to admit that as part of humbly admitting we need help. We have to humbly realize that we are broken, that there are secret sins that we have to be open and reveal, and likewise realizing that my pride and fear keep me stuck. There's a time when I was dealing with massive fatigue and I didn't understand why, what was going on in my life. And then I finally got a sleep study done. After so many years, I went to the emergency room and I felt like a wimp. For me as a guy going to the emergency room, I felt so wimpish, thinking I'm going for fatigue. And then I go and I get a sleep study done and realize that I needed one of those machines, all right? That I had all of a sudden the blockage in my throat and that I needed something to help me because I was snoring and sleep apnea. And when I found that out, can I just tell you, it was a relief for me to find that out, to find out what the problem was. I was able to admit finally that, hey, I'm dealing with a weakness that I'm struggling with. But when I found the answer, that wasn't what solved it, but it was the road to get and to begin going forward. If we can realize that our pride and that our fear are some of the issues that we're dealing with, and if we can face it, then we can start looking to the solutions that God wants us to be moving towards. And so, one, again, we have to humbly admit I need help. Number two, we have to admit and humbly ask God for help. Realizing that He is the source of strength that we need. He is our creator. He is the one who created us. If you go and someone makes an invention, someone makes something out of their hands and puts something together, you're not going to go to someone else, all right, when you have the opportunity to go to the creator of that thing to figure out what's wrong and how to fix it. Right? So if I have a phone that's wrong and something breaks down, I'm going to go to those that repair phones or the person that created that phone to get it fixed. Okay? And so I'm not going to go all of a sudden to my doctor to fix my phone. We have our Creator God who made us and put us together. He knows us better than we know ourselves. And we have to humbly admit that I need God's help. And then number 3, we also have to admit that and accept help from other people. Right? Accept help from others that are around us. Realize that part of accepting God's help is realizing He put some things around us that are key for our help, that are key for our health, that will help us get to the places that God wants us to be getting to in our life. So realize that God loves you, realize that God cares about you, and then humbly accept help that's around you. You know, in Ecclesiastes, there's a scripture that we usually hear at weddings, where it says, 2 are better than 1, and the threefold cord is not easily broken. And it's talking about how when we're together, there's more that we can do together than we can apart. We are stronger together. And God is the cord that we need to be in one accord with. Yes, that's a pun. I'm someone that likes puns, so just be aware of that or beware of that. Yes, another pun, right? And so we want to be tethered and connected with God, but realize that also in doing that, God will connect us with others as well. And there will be things that we don't like. However, this is also part of the journey, is that as there are wounds that happen, we come to God, and He helps us also come to the people. And we're going to have things that we can help heal others with. But first, we need to look at us. Hey, what's going on inside of us? Realize that we're in a broken world, and as we're doing this, there are going to be some things that we're going to need to be aware of. Some ground rules, so to speak, as we realize that there are things that we're going to need others' help for. One of those things that there's going to need to be confidentiality. So as we're going in this journey, whatever group that you're with right now, I want to encourage you to protect each other in the sense of don't expose and tell other people about things that are going on and the hurts and wounds of those that are around you. We want to care and protect, all right? And so I want to encourage you to have confidentiality in whatever group you're in right now. Don't try to fix people yourself. You might have an answer to offer them help, but you can't force them to take it. All right, you can offer what you know. You can offer things that God's ministered to you about, but just remember you can't control people and you can't fix them. Also, don't minimize someone else's pain. There's right now a lot of pain in this world, a lot of hurt, and someone else might be going through a pain and you don't want to minimize it or say, oh, that's nothing. Oh, man, and then we get in that competition thing, right? You ever gotten that? Oh, you think that's bad. Wait till you hear this. And all of a sudden, when we do that, we're minimizing someone's pain. Here's another thing. When someone's sharing pain, don't be disinterested. Don't roll your eyes. Don't act like, oh, man, I have better places to be or better places to do, because that is quintessential of pride. And that is quintessential of realizing I don't even need these people that are around me. Let me just mention this. You need the people that are hurting. You need the people that are hurting. You need the people that are around you that are going through things. And that's part of unlocking some of the things that God has inside of you, because if you're locked up, if you're not giving from the life that God has inside of you, then that's not good either, and that leads to unhealthiness as well. There always needs to be an inflow and an outflow that's happening in our life. And then I want to encourage us to respond with empathy to those that are around us. Make sure that we are listening to them and that we show that we care. Because I believe in all of us that we do care and are concerned, but let's find that place and make sure that we're empathizing with those that are around us. And then let's get back to focus on our own brokenness. Let's look at the things in our life and come back to us and always realize that there are things that are broken in us, that we're not perfect, that we're not better than anybody else that is dealing with something else. Okay? You might be strong in an area that someone else is weak, but realize that you have a weakness as well. And so let's look and focus on our own brokenness during this time. And I believe as we do this journey together that we're going to find healing for the hurt. We need to admit, all right? We need to admit that we need help, that we need to look to God for help, and that we need help from others. We need to realize that pride is in the way and look at getting those things out, and also fear and putting those things aside and get out of this grind, this daily cycle of trying to control this and that, our image, other people, all right? Trying to control our problems and our pain. And come to God and realize we can let go and release to God. But again, it comes down to admitting. So I got a few questions for you here as we close. I'd like for you to get together with your family or the group that you're in right now and ask these questions around and for some of us to answer these questions, okay? So, what are some ways that we try to control our image? Other people, our problems, or our pain? What's some ways that you try to control that? Okay, so perhaps there's some things that you can list right now. I try to do this on social media, or whenever I'm in pain, this is my go-to. And so I want to encourage you to open up. And remember, we talked about the ground rules there. Confidentiality, don't try to fix people, don't minimize others' pains, respond with empathy, and focus on our own brokenness. So again, first question, what are some ways that you or we try to control our image, other people, our problems, or our pain? 2, which of these do we struggle with the most? Trying to change the past, trying to control other people, or our coping mechanisms for the problems we face? What are the things here that we struggle with the most here? Are we trying to fix the past? All right? Are we trying to control others? Or is it the coping mechanisms that we're struggling with? The coping mechanisms of, this is my go-to for whenever I'm dealing with something, and that's not doing good for us. All right? So which of those 3 do you struggle with the most? And then here's one last question. Where are you learning to trust God in your life? What area of your life right now are you learning to trust Him more and more? I want to encourage you to put your faith, I want to encourage you to begin putting your trust on God. He is worthy, He cares for you. But what areas right now are you learning to trust God more and more? Is in the area of finances? Is in the areas of fear and concerns? Is in the area of perhaps pains that you're dealing with? And just realizing that I need help? Whatever it is, I want to encourage you to share that as well, where you're learning to trust in Him in those areas. So thank you for joining us. I encourage you that after you're done talking about these questions, to get in your groups and to pray for one another. Lift each other up in prayer. I usually pray at the end of these messages. However, I want to encourage you wherever you're at. If you're by yourself, I want to encourage you to talk to God right where you're at. And just tell Him and start admitting to Him some of the pains that you have if you're by yourself right now. And if you're with others, I want you to encourage you to pray for each other, lift each other up, lift up your brother and sister that surrounds you. All right? God bless, and we'll see you next week.